I've been talking for a very long time, but didn't realise I was muted. I was like, why is no one saying hello? Hello, chat. How are we doing? How are we doing? Oh, God, it's warm.
Yeah.
It's the sunstroke setting in. It must be. Hello, how are we all doing? Welcome, welcome. Ah, look, Elf has got his hat on. His little hat. Mwah. His little hat. I was trying to figure out a way to make that hat work. Like, I decided to have it like just a dinky little sailor's cap just situated between the ears there, because it's kind of weird. So for anybody who's not in the loop, Twitch has rolled out badge flares, subscriber badge flares for tier 2 and tier 3 subs, where you're allowed to add something a little bit different to the badge flare of those levels of subscriber. There was nothing really that I could think of doing other than that, really. The difference between the two... Jesus, that's loud. Oh, there we go. The difference between the tier 2 and the tier 3 sub is very, very negligible, because the difference is only the hat. And the difference between the two hats is like the little bit of scrambled egg on the front of the cap there. So yeah, that's literally the only difference between the two. But, you know, it's something at the very least. It wasn't really needed in the grand scheme of things, but hey, I thought, why not? Why not put it on? So yeah, how are everyone's doing? Or how is everyone doing? I English every day. Hopefully we're all keeping well. Sit rep on Planet Joe, I have a cider, and I also have water. Here's a shake. Make the hat darker like the salute. I mean, I could. I don't know, I guess I could, but then then it's not the Admiral's cap, is it? I don't know. It's one of those ones. So the guy in the white suit is the captain, and then the guy in the black suit is the Admiral. Then it's not the Admiral's cap. It's a very similar difference. Or very similar. But I couldn't think of anything else to do. I thought of maybe having it so that the Admiral's cap was for tier 3, and then just having the normal cube salute, you know, sailor beret kind of thing. I forget the name of it. As the tier 2, but then you've got a captain salute and you've only got a tier like 1 beret kind of thing. I don't know. It's only a small little thing, and it's not meant to be a major point of conjunction between the two. But yeah, that's how I'm going to play it for the moment. Just the nod between the two. And when you see them alongside, you do see the small difference between them, and it's not really meant to be a major status symbol as it is. Although it does show off that good old elf there, tier 3. Tier 3, so very kind, sir. Thank you very much there to Fiona. Hang on. Fiona. Lakers. Enjoy your Twitch Prime sub, all the same. Thank you very much. Yeah, I didn't know whether it was worth doing that. Did I not notice your sub, Sanhal? There's par for the course. Sub game it is. Thank you very much for the 10 months there, mate. That's, yeah. May gave to stop soon. University calls. No worries, man. You've been a long time supporter of the channel, so I have no issue with you calling in. Yeah, you're going to be a broke student like everyone else. Good stuff. So, with regards to Cold Waters, then, last time I played this, I got a little bit PJ salt over the fact an enemy fucking anti-submarine warfare fleet was essentially spawned on top of me. But I've had a hunt through the subsim forums, and I've got a couple of pointers as to what I should be doing, which I suppose after the fact seems sensible. Basically, two things. First things first, do not chase enemy ships. Try to get ahead of them and come to a full stop. Let me just kill the music here. I'm going to just change capture window. So yeah, basically when we're on the campaign map, what we want to do is position ourselves in such a way that rather than chasing after a target, we need to try and maneuver around them and come to a dead stop ahead of them so that they drive into us. That means that when the mission starts, we are making ahead slow at like 5 knots. And so it's able to basically reduce our chance of detection, which is awesome, and also increase our rates. So decrease their rate of detection and increase our own, because obviously the slower you're going, the better your sonar suite is. And hypothetically, you should spawn further away. The second thing is pretty much anywhere to the east of the SOSUS line, the big line down the middle of the map. Go at patrol speed, which is like 10 knots, because then if you get intercepted, the chance of you actually being detected right out of the gate is a lot smaller. I appreciate that, Clayton. Yeah, no, it's good to see everyone. A couple of the old guard rolling out because of yeah, fucking bit of Cold Waters. We don't play this very often, but yeah, I thought I'd treat you all today to some sub game, mostly because the AI on fucking U-boat has made me big time. You just woke up from a 15-hour depression nap. I will deliver hugs. One time hug to Novice there. Thank you. Yeah, look after yourself. Right, so in terms of campaign, then we're going to be starting up a fresh one. We are playing with the more playable subs mod, so we might even be able to take out something a bit wacky and weird today. Maybe something from the English arsenal. I think we're going to rock and roll with. Could go South China Sea. Just a thought. Maybe not South China. We'll go. I'll stick to what I know. North Atlantic 1984 campaign. Let's rock and roll with this. Start. We're going to go for a new one. Thomas Chesterton. I don't know. That'll be our commander. Yes, we will overwrite. And then we've got a couple of different submarines that we can rock and roll with today. I'm feeling like taking something out from the British Navy. I've got to be honest. So let's have a look here. If we get through the a million ones of these. Astute is a bit too new. It's a bit too long as well, but the Astute is a bit too new for our taste, so we're going to skip past him. We're looking more, I think it's Swiftsure and Trafalgar is about where we are. Trafalgar's a little bit dated, I'm pretty sure. Trafalgar class were designed in the early 1970s during the Cold War as a refinement of the preceding Swiftsure class, so Trafalgar is the big mama, big dada kind of thing. Including HMS Dreadnought, the Trafalgar class are the 5th class of nuclear-powered fleet submarines to enter service under the Royal Navy. With the first class, the HMS Trafalgar was ordered on 7th of April 77. Do Astute, though? Wreck Scrubs in the name of Her Majesty. I could maybe stretch to doing an Astute if I was playing on the 2000s campaign. I think that's reasonable-ish. But I do like my Cold War stuff like this. The last HMS Triumph was ordered on the 3rd of January 86 and completed in 91. Jesus. Looking 13, what, not 13 years, God, 15-year delivery time. Jesus Christ. Good God. Okay, well that took a very long time. What about the more common, what was it, Swiftsure class? A little bit dated by this point. Were a class of nuclear power submarine in the Royal Navy from the 1970s until 2010. So like a little bit dated, but I'm guessing perfectly capable. Very deep test depth, which is nice. 81, 91, 13 years? It wasn't 81, 91, was it? The burps are going to be legendary now that I'm having cider. Prepare yourself, chat. I apologise. 86 to 91. 30? Am I going mad? So it wasn't 13 years. It was 5 years. I've had about a third of a bottle of cider. It clearly is having adverse effects. Right, do you have the good old David Ironclad? I don't think so. I don't think so. Right, so we've got a couple of choices then. A lot of these submarine models will probably look a bit weird, and that's because there aren't really any comprehensive modding tools. I think... Trafalgar... I think we could maybe stretch to a Trafalgar class, chat. What do you think about that, taking a Trafalgar out? 1970s, a refinement of the Swiftsure. Favourite kind of cider, or brand of cider? Old Moot, if I had a choice. Don't ask me what flavour, I don't mind. Yeah, we'll go with this one. We'll go with a Trafalgar class GBR Royal Navy submarine. Test depth of a whopping 1,800 feet, 5 wires, 30 knot top speed, spearfish and tigerfish, T-LAM torpedoes and advanced decoys, as well as a couple of harpoons, which is fantastic. That's a very nice submarine you've got there, Q. It's long, hard, and full of seamen. How I like it. That's how I like my submarines. Apparently. Right. Navi says, speaking of cider, I just started brewing a few gallons of apple cider and a gallon of orange blossom mead. Can't wait. No worries. Sounds fantastic. Apparently I'm a classy cider, but I'm very high maintenance, chat, you know. I only have the finest Asda chosen by you cheese. Right, so let's accept this guy. Commander Thomas Chesterton, that is our role-playing character. Effective immediately, you're assigned to command of Trafalgar, UK-class submarine HMS Trafalgar, so S-107. So we've got the sort of lead ship. Mr. Zeiss, our favourite, I want to say German, because I've forgotten where you're from. A German? German? Hello? Anyone? Is he I think he's... Sorry, Zeiss.
Oh,
German
yeah.
indeed. Okay. There we go. It's alright. Angela Merkel won't come for me in my sleep. Right, so let's have a look here. Accept. So we're going to have a couple of missions as we come through the pipe here. I'm just going to paraphrase because there's a load of like newspapers with a beautiful mugshot of Ronald Reagan here. Basically, the gist of the campaign, if you've never seen this before, is the Russians, as of 1984, have decided to turn the Cold War hot due to continued pressure from Western countries and I think maybe even an economic crash, or I think that's mostly to do with the South China Sea. But basically, they've stormed across the Fulda Gap, and in Operation, was it Unthinkable or or something like where they've planned a scenario war between the West and the Soviet Union. Essentially, that's happened. The Warsaw Pact has activated and is storming across into Western Europe. NATO has been caught off guard and thus is losing ground. It is the job of us in our submarine here, HMS Trafalgar, to assist the guys on land by performing actions at sea in whatever way we can. So the war on land is very much dictated by the amount of war supply and war material that can be transferred via the Barents Sea, via the Norwegian Sea, into Northern Europe. So, as our nuclear attack submarine, we've got to try and sink hostile landing forces, warships, capital ships, other submarines, just to try and keep not only enemy shipping down, but protect our own resources as they come in from supply from America. Because obviously while it's not modelled in game, war materials are coming in from the United States into the UK, into Western Europe, and we're trying to hold the Russians back, basically. But we are definitely on the back foot as of the start of the war. So as of the activation of wartime, we are docked at Holy Loch in Scotland. It is the 5th of November 1984. It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon as of this moment. From the Commander-in-Chief of the Atlantic Fleet, we have a top-secret mission. Orders are, an enemy cruise missile submarine is transiting southwards in the Norwegian Sea towards the North Atlantic convoy routes. You must sink it. This enemy sub is believed to be nuclear-powered, Oscar or Charlie class, and may have SSN escorts. So NATO's got a few different ways of classifying submarines when it comes to just an umbrella term. Like a lot of Russian submarines have names like Project 238 and Object 107 and stuff like that. And in order to try and streamline it down, they've been given NATO classifications for different types of ships, like, for example, a really old World War II-esque submarine class. I forget the name that the Russians give it, but NATO call it the Whiskey class. And by calling it the Whiskey class, it is instantly understood by all NATO assets as that type of submarine. SSN stands for Submersible Submarine Nuclear Powered, so it is potentially going to have some nuclear-powered submarines similar to our own in capability in terms of escort. So cruise missile submarine, so an SSGN more than likely, supported by SSNs, which is going to be interesting. Thank you very much there to Pruforge, Orge as we call him. Thank you very much there for the 11 months, very, very kind. And to, oh god, I've got a few going back away actually. Thank you very much there to Will SKB for the Twitch Prime sub, do enjoy your emotes. And Minibomb202, the weekend has arrived. I no longer need to wake up at 4:30 AM. Room comfy indeed, can't argue with that. That can only be a good deal. So I'm going to prop up my microphone there. Good to see you, Ottoman. And we are going to jump in with the mission. So we are going to be trying to intercept a hostile SSGN in the Norwegian Sea, transiting towards the Atlantic convoy routes. I've just heard the first of many belches from the top floor. In terms of our repair and rearm, our current outfit is as follows on our ship here. We have 12. No, we have more than that actually. We've got, what is that, 16 spearfish torpedoes. Okay, so we've got 4 loaded in the tubes as per this little bracket 4 here, and we've also got 8 in storage. We also have an additional 4 in the vertical launch system. So I believe the vertical launch system on this submarine shoots up like vertically, because obviously the torpedo tubes come out at the front of the submarine. I believe the vertical launch shoots directly up in case you're directly under a submarine. We won't be using that very often, but it's there. We also have tigerfish torpedoes. The difference between the two is that the spearfish, as I understand it in a generalization, is a very fast seeking torpedo. The tigerfish is slower but has a larger warhead, as I understand it. So I think that's the way around it is. On top of that, we've also got 4 Harpoon UGM-84 missiles. These are missiles that you can launch from about 100 feet under the water. They break out and then use rocket-propelled engines or rocket propellants to take it towards the target and explode. These actually track on the surface beyond a certain point. We also have 8 Tomahawk land attack missiles, so 8 TLAMs for any ground-based objectives that we need to knock out, and also 4 advanced mobile submarine simulators, MOSSs, designed to confuse enemy torpedoes into thinking that something is a submarine when it isn't. It won't trick the submarine it won't trick a torpedo to the point of being able to make it detonate incorrectly, but it can confuse enemy sonar heads just enough to allow us to slip away. So yeah, that's basically the gist of it so far. So we're loaded up with complete spearfish loadout, absolutely fine with that. We're going to cast off and we're going to make our way towards the Norwegian Sea. Now your man is going to be transiting south somewhere, so what we're going to do is probably wait for the SOSUS line here, which is a line of incredibly sensitive sonar, like passive sonars that are on the surface in buoys, and are very good at detecting any hostile submarines that may be transiting under that line. So we're moving slow at patrol speed. Oh, that's our target there. Looks like he managed to sneak through. He might have been operating in and around Greenland. This is one of those few cases where I'm actually going to have to give chase from behind. There it is. Okay. Normally I wouldn't give chase at full speed, but he was in danger of getting away. So HMS Trafalgar S107 in the vicinity of the Iceland-UK gap on the 7th of November 1984. It is 3 o'clock in the morning. The ensign, or the XO, gets on the pipe and says, "Captain, we have a new sonar contact bearing 323 even. I can number. So that is roughly northwest of our position, apparently. So new contact 323, designated as Sierra 1. Sierra 1 means that the contact was picked up by sonar, hence the Sierra contact, so sonar contact 1. Our XO reports that our depth is at 600 feet with a heading of 345, which means our target is going to be in front of us and just to the left. Our speed is 20 knots, and the local conditions are light with a little bit of rain, as well as a strong surface duct and thermal layer at 176 feet. We are going all hands to battle stations, and we are going to rig ship for silent running right out of the gate.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
We've rigged the ship for ultra quiet. Now, if we take a look at our sonar data here, we can see that the ambient noise is 98 decibels, so it's actually quite loud at the moment. So that's one of the bothers that we're going to be getting into here. It's going to be quite difficult to find these guys as they push through. I could immediately... You have to forgive that noise, that's my Oculus being weird.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 322. Designated
maybe they
Sierra
haven't detected
1.
us. I'm going to assume that this is a hostile warship and begin scanning as
Con
such.
sonar, new contact bearing 337. Designated Sierra
So we want to
2.
get through all the... This is all NATO stuff.
Con sonar, new
Typhoon.
contact bearing 320.
There we go. So now we're on
Designated
Russian
Sierra
subs.
3.
So what we're trying to do is match up these lines to the known signatures of known sonar signatures of Russian vessels. So let's start working our way through and see if we can find a close match. We've got a, looks like a Charlie. That looks pretty good. Charlie 2 SSGN. Let's take a look at its capabilities. Using a low frequency passive sonar, it's got a very nasty array of weapons. That is our target. Looks like it's got at least 2 escorts in the form of a Sierra 2 and 3. Let's tag 3 and figure out what that guy is. We're going to come back to the start of the list. Checking. It's very unlikely we'll encounter a Typhoon, but it's always worth having a look at. Doesn't look like a typical submarine signature. Chances are this is going to be either a merchant ship or a biological contact, because it's got a very unusual low frequency. So we shall see if we can get anything to match that. Just going quite quickly, as it's going to take a while to line that up, if indeed we can. Here we go. Oil rig, that. It looks like we're dealing with a humpback whale. So we're going to tag that as a humpback whale. Sierra 2, I do actually have tagged as well, so we're going to go for Sierra 2 with that.
Is classified as biologic.
Now, we could even service a torpedo on our target here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to dive down very deep. I'm going to go all the way down to, taking a total water reading, is 1,100 feet. I'm going to go down to 1,000 feet, I think. I'm going to go all the way down. So 1,000 feet, please dive.
1,000 feet, dive by.
100 feet, dive by. 000 feet. So our submarine, as I say, is a Trafalgar UK class submarine. We are diving down, yeah, very, very deep. We're going to launch one Spearfish torpedo, maximum range of 54,000 yards at 60 knots, max speed of 80. It's an absolutely blistering torpedo, as you'll see, with a 4,000 yard seek ahead. The Spearfish torpedo, formerly Navy Staff Target 7525, is the heavy torpedo used by submarines of the Royal Navy. It can be guided by wire or by warfare, ASW, anti-submarine warfare ships. It has replaced the unreliable Tigerfish torpedo, which was withdrawn in 2004. The significantly higher speed of the Spearfish, for which development started in the 1970s before the breakup of the Soviet Union, was intended to match the high-speed, deep-diving Soviet threats such as the Alpha-class submarine. So a very, very capable torpedo. In fact, I'm not even sure we should have Spearfishes at this point in the war, but there you go. Should we have Spearfishes in 1984? If not, next time I go back I'll use Tigerfishes only. I don't actually know. All speed ahead? I don't think so. What era is currently being played in? We are in the 1984 campaign. 1984 campaign. Right. So we're coming down now. You can see our depth down here in the bottom left. What I might do for you guys is just make the resolution just a tiny bit higher. There you go. Hopefully that will make things just a little bit easier to see for you guys on the UI. Maybe for the people on mobile it's probably still a bit small, but without it taking up all of my screen there's very little I can do.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 315. Contact faded.
Spearfishes came into service from 1992. Okay, so in that case then I will, when I go back to base, delete all of my Spearfish torpedoes and replace them with Tigerfishes, but we'll start using these. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to fire our Spearfish on the target of Charlie 2 here. It's only a rough estimate, so I'm going to actually start it tracking from here and hope that it doesn't hit those humpbacks. So, firing point procedures. Bearing 316, range to enable 2,100 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 1.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Weapon has cleared the tube and is running normally. Okay. The weapon's going to run to it. Again, apologies about that noise. The weapon is going to run to what's called its RTE point, its range to enable point, and then it is going to start searching for the target in a straight line ahead of it. More than likely, it is going to pick up the humpback whale, but we're going to try and use the wire to steer the torpedo. Now, a lot of people ask me, Joe, does it actually use a wire? That's my voice for Twitch chat. Yes, it does. These torpedoes and submarines have enormous spools of copper wire, which literally, as it sounds, there's a literal physical cable that connects the torpedo to the submarine and allows for, oh shit, adjustments.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
Okay, so we've had a fire in retaliation. So someone has detected us, okay? What we're going to do then, in an attempt to torpedo evade, we're going to go all the way down to 1,100 feet.
Make depth 1100 feet, dive by.
So we're now on active homing. Our torpedo is now tracking.
Con sonar, noisemaker.
Yes,
bearing
there he is.
07.
We're also going to change course. Helm, come left bearing 271.
Left 271.
Ahead
Helm
2/3.
Make turns for 10 knots. Maneuvering aye.
I don't want to give him an exact guess on where I am.
Maneuvering, making turns for 10.
We're in very close proximity to the seabed here, as you can see. Yeah, bench out, exactly like that. Okay, so our torpedo is currently tracking in on the target. Again, we shouldn't have spearfishes, but what can you do? Thank you very much. Oh, wow, the original tube. Thank you very much there for the 10 gifted subs. Thank you, matey. Hot damn, some cute gifts in chat there. Thank you very much, sir. Hello, mate. Kicking in the front door. Not even a sub himself. Not even a sub himself.
Con, helm, steady course.
Okay, so our target is about there. Our torpedo's just lost homing here. What we're going to do is wait for it to go into a search and then try and reacquire the target. Thank you very much, Tube. And Saphirian as well. Thank you very much for the 19 months. It'll be a while before it pops up, but thank you very much.
Weapon acquired.
Spearfish has acquired the target again. Let's see if it goes in for the kill. There it is.
Sierra 1.
Hit him right on the bow. Charlie class engaged and destroyed. Their weapon is over there. Right, we're going to come ahead flank cavitate in the assumption that there is no more targets.
Maneuvering aye.
If we come left this way, I'm hoping we can avoid them.
Sierra 2. Last bearing 340. Contact faded.
Thank you very much. Right, we're going to load another spearfish torpedo. Try and crack on at a head flank here. We can see the hostile weapon closing in here from the northwest. We want to try and get out of the way because that is going to have a Seeker warhead. As far as the Charlie submarines go, I can find the bastard. There we go. Charlie 2 firing set 65 torpedoes. A 17,500 yards at 40 knots, 40 knot top speed with a very weak Seeker head on it, actually. That torpedo is quite dated. An electrical... apologies for the burp. An electrical dual-purpose torpedo with an active acoustic guidance. Range of the homing system is about 880 yards. That is grim. Russian family wake homing. We're actually pretty safe from this guy. If this is only a set 65 from that out, like look how close to the top it is. If you compare how close the surface is here to how close the surface is for us, you can kind of appreciate just how far we are down. I'm pretty sure we've engaged and destroyed this guy with extreme prejudice. In fact, we're behind the sonar head now. What I'm going to do is slow us down to patrol speed at 10 knots, and I'm going to blast away on the active sonar and try and see if there's anybody else about. To do that, I'm going to come up quite shallow. Going to make our depth 600 feet. Please dive.
Make depth 600 feet. Dive by.
And we're going to drum away on the active sonar. Now, the difference for all of you non-submarine heads out there between active and passive sonar is passive sonar is just listening to the sound of the water and trying to pick out the sounds of a submarine against the backdrop of the ocean. So the ocean has lots of ambient noise, lots of water in it, makes lots of noise, and with the turbulence of the waves on top and currents and things like that. That's where all the noise comes from, as well as organic life like whales and so on. But passive sonar is just listening. Active sonar is what this enemy torpedo is doing to me. You can hear those pulses, those blasts of sound. What an active sonar head will do is send out a pulse of sound. Now that sound, when it hits an object, it will reflect the sound back, bounce the frequency back. And if that frequency is bounced back towards the sonar earlier than it is expecting, then it knows that there's something there to reflect the sound, i.e. a hostile contact. It can't differentiate between submarine or whale, that's up to the sonar operator, but it can find things that maybe, because for example if a submarine is at all stop, it might be very difficult to find. But if you go on active sonar, especially if it's side on, the cross section, the sonar cross section, so if my submarine's here, if I'm looking right at it, there's only this much submarine for the sonar ping to bounce off of, where if I'm like this, suddenly I've got all of that for the sound to bounce off of, and it gives a much clearer sonar picture. So basically, the difference between active and passive is just listening. Active reveals your position, because it's very loud and it tells people where you are, but it also helps you find targets that might be otherwise hiding in the ambient noise of the surroundings. So what we're going to do is we're going to drum away on the active and see if we get any responses. So let's have a listen. Going active now.
Con sonar, switching to active search.
Humpback Whale 2 has been reacquired. I love that sonar sound, that's gorgeous. Oh, tried to knock the bottle side of open.
Contact on. Sierra 3, bearing 330.
So what we're listening to is any high-pitch whines back. We'll do Elf if we can.
Sierra 2 is classified as biologic.
Nothing to report. Now, I am trying to get rid of my spearfish torpedo, so I am actually going to torpedo these couple of whales for chat's amusement, because of the fact that I'm trying to get rid of them. So, firing point procedures, bearing 330, range to enable 4,700 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 1.
Shoot tube 1, aye sir.
Weapon 1 has cleared the tube and is running normally. Right. Weapon is away. Very nice. So weapon is tracking. We're going to keep singing on active. We're going to ready another torpedo because the fire control system allows for it. We're going to launch a vertical, because why not? We're going to set to homing search and we're going to aim it at Sierra 2. So, firing point procedures, bearing 353, range to enable 3,700 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, launch tube 5.
Shoot tube 5, aye sir.
So that actually came out of the bottom of the submarine. So the vertical launch is vertical, true, as in it's on the vertical axis, but it actually comes out the bottom. I guess that's for engaging deep diving submarines in a pinch. I did think it a bit daft. Let's just call this a weapons malfunction, exactly. Have a swig of this. It's about £700 per whale. But think of all the meat we could sell to the Chinese. Oh, then it becomes worth it. Although I don't think this is an effective way of farming whale meat, to be honest. There's not much left afterwards. Japanese, even. There's Chinese whaling, isn't there? I know there's Japanese whaling, but there's Chinese whaling, surely. Japanese would pay more. I guess. Okay, fair enough. I've learnt a thing about world culture. Okay. So you're going to see the raw speed of this. Is a spearfish torpedo, as you can see here, and it's very difficult to gauge just how fast this is going, but this is bloody fast. There's also a hostile submarine just down here. You might even be able to see the torpedo travel overhead, if we're careful. Try and see it. We've got the murkier waters on, so it's a bit difficult to spot. Can't see it at all.
Weapon acquired.
Weapon acquired. Okay, he's steering for Sierra 1. That means we're going to change the RTE point of weapon 5 to there. because this guy's going to go and acquire this target. There it is. In the name of Elf, I beseech thee. Hellspawn. Incoming. Bamoosh. Totally atomized it. Not even a soupy chunk left.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 2. Last bearing 0 1 1. Contact faded.
I don't know, Bench. I don't know what it says about war crimes for Wales. Whale crimes, as we're calling them now. I will say this. I'm actually not online this evening. Part of the reason I'm on now is because my 8 o'clock stream is actually being overridden by the release of the Warhammer mod that I want to try out, SFO Grimhammer. It's getting its next update, and me and Catler have got a date. We've got a date planned for that time, so this is why I'm on now. I apologise if you end up watching the VOD and this is throwing your schedule out. I do apologise, so I do. Right, weapon 5 is now enabling.
Fire control, weapon acquired.
It's going to be tracking that guy like an absolute bastard. Again, we're just trying to get rid of as many of these spearfish torpedoes as we can, just so that they are gone. Why not stream Warhammer? It's not a game that I like streaming, I gotta be honest. Lots of backseat drivers when it comes to games like that. Why haven't you built this unit, made that? Oh god, you lost a fight because you didn't have your Orc boys 3/3 from the right. And not a fan, not a fan. Check the other torpedo. There it is. In fact, I'll do you better. I'll check the whale as the weapon sinks in. You can see how that's a blistering speed, man. And
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 3. Last bearing 3 3 6. Contact faded.
right in the arse. Exactly right. Okay. Kill the active sonar.
Con sonar. Switching to passive search.
I'm guessing there's no other contacts nearby. X-ray reports that we have no sonar contact and are ready to leave the area. No vessels nearby, no weapons, no aircraft, no flooding. Our orders are to, well, obviously abandon ship. What Warhammer game am I playing tonight? So I'm playing Warhammer Total War 2, the RTS for the PC, not like a tabletop version of Warhammer. I've never done the model painting. And we're going to be playing just the Grimhammer mod that's been in development for a few weeks because I've been overhauling it. And me and Catler have just been sitting there twiddling our thumbs until it come out because it was kind of our main game. Love the Lizardmen. I'm a high elf. I'm a dirty high elf. So that's what I'm going to be playing. So yeah, let's leave combat. So 1 times Charlie 2 engaged and destroyed. Weapons remaining 13 spearfishes. It's going to take us a long time to get through these, but we might as well use them now that we've got them. Otherwise we're going to fail objectives. So, HMS Trafalgar S-107 in the vicinity of the Iceland-UK gap. Weapons remaining is, as we see it there, 13 spearfish, 10 tigerfish, 4 harpoons, 8 TLMs and 4 MOSSs. A very healthy torpedo storage capacity there. Right then. Cube wave? It's alright. No, it's toggle your caps lock screwed. Try again. Brilliant. So, from the Commander-in-Chief of the Atlantic Fleet, we have a mission update. Fine work in dealing with those boats, Commander. Your contribution to the war effort will make transit for our convoys a lot safer, and supporting the troops on land is what the Navy is about. Keep it up, Commander, and await further orders on this downlink. Something that's quite interesting is that there's actually a mod coming out, or a new expansion for Cold Waters that actually turns it into an RTS. As I understand it, you get to like control individual boats and move them around and stuff like that. Or I believe you actually get to switch between different boats and do different firing procedures and stuff, which I think is quite set in the Second World War. It is. I've no information more than that other than a short trailer, but what can you do? So, the World News tabloid for the 7th of November 1984. Sub-killers. Incidents involving attacks on transatlantic convoys by hostile submarines in and around the Norwegian Sea have rapidly diminished. An anonymous spokesperson suggested increased NATO submarine operations in the area are a contributing factor. However, the Pentagon has denied such claims. Without the threat of attacks from submarines, transatlantic crossings are becoming more efficient and suffering fewer losses. If this improved influx of supplies and war materials can be sustained, NATO forces will be in a position to take the fight all of the way back to the Iron Curtain. So yes, basically war materials coming in from the United States to NATO to help them resist the Warsaw Pact in their invasion. Chances are we're going to lose a lot of ground before that actual material makes its way to where it needs to go, but, you know, all we can do is try and hang on with our fingernails. So that is complete. A new mission comes in from the Commander-in-Chief. We got one mission down, but there's plenty more to do. The Warsaw Pact is in full swing here. So, from the Commander-in-Chief of the Atlantic Fleet on the 7th of November at 3 o'clock in the morning. Tactical situation. Ever won a campaign? Nope. Never won a campaign. It's quite long. And I always end up changing submarines, like when I start new streams and stuff. Never actually played one to the end. I should try if I can, but I always sink. Which one do you prefer, Cold Waters or U-Boat? I think, Neo, that's a difficult question for me. They both have their perks, right? On the one hand, I love U-Boat's internal crew management and moving crew around the submarine and the ability to do the positions manually. Imagine Cold Waters if you were able to control the crew inside and manually use sonar stations and things like that. About as complex as it gets is that you're manually able to look down the periscope. So yeah, this is like that's one of the things that I would love to see in this game, but it's never going to happen, unfortunately, because the game just doesn't have the infrastructure for it. On the other hand, things that I don't like about U-Boat, first of all, the AI. That's both for my characters and the enemy destroyers and stuff. They just don't do very well. The randomly generated missions pull from a pool of about 3 missions. But the classic, you know, batteries getting flooded and everybody dying of chlorine gas missions and stuff, it gets quite repetitive. And there's only so many different ways that you can engage a target on U-Boat. I mean, there's only so many different ways you can do the same torpedo calculation data over and over, statometer, get the chronometer out, you know, like... It gets very samey very quickly because you have to do the exact same procedures every single time, and really the only variable is whether you miss or not. So it does get quite repetitive. Things that I like about Cold Waters, I love the Cold War gameplay. I like the AI because it's actually very powerful. I just love the setup. I love the ambience. I love the music. I love the deep diving. I love the suspense. The tension is much more palpable in this. Things that I don't like about Cold Waters, and it's really my biggest pet peeve about Cold Waters, is that sometimes the parameters for launching missions are totally just like there's nothing. Sometimes the game just sets you up for failure, and it feels like a cheap loss. I'll give you an example. The last time we played this, we were playing in, I think, in a Skipjack class submarine, which is an older submarine, but what can you do? There's something in submarine warfare called an anti-submarine warfare fleet, or anti-submarine warfare ships. Ships that are specifically designed to hunt and kill submarines. Now, in the case of Cold Waters, some are newer than others. You know, like a Krevac or something, you know, maybe part of an ASW fleet, but isn't necessarily that good at knocking out enemy submarines. Whereas something like a Udaloy is incredibly powerful. Modern Soviet destroyer with all of the mod cons, sonars, torpedoes, RBU systems to knock a submarine out. On this mission, the mission spawned me within, I think, 8 kiloyards of a Udaloy, and the Udaloy immediately detected me and started shooting me. Like, I didn't even have time to even worry about, you know, how deep is the water? Okay, what are we dealing with here? As soon as it started, within the first few seconds, enemy torpedo salvos were coming in. And that is setting you up for failure. Because we were in the Barents Sea, and it's like 500 feet of water, if that. Now that Cold Waters is on sale, would I recommend it? I would, actually, for 2 reasons. One, it is alright, and a lot of people do actually really like the Cold Waters gameplay, as I'm sure 500 people here are reasonably enjoying seeing. I will say it does come without the Quebec commentary, which is, I'm told time and time again, does detract from certain games that I play. It feels like there should be a Joe narrating in your ear as you're going on. The other thing is that there's a DLC coming out for this. I don't know whether it's paid for or whether... I imagine it's going to be paid for, premium DLC. But it could even be free DLC. I have no idea, no information about it. But that's going to be coming out for Cold Waters. And it's quite an interesting take on the platform that they've already built off of. There are a couple of mods for this that make life more interesting, like the more playable subs mod, but because this game is relatively unknown, except for the most diehard of submarine fans, you will find that there's not much in the way of modded content. There's not rafts and rafts of Steam Workshop, not that it has Steam Workshop, but I've got terrible burps, Steam Workshop mods for it. So you might run out of puff, basically. Cold Water's devs have left Killerfish Games, though. Yes. I don't know why. I think they're developing another game, aren't they, Epoch? There was another game that I saw. That is... Let me actually go and find that for you. Because there's a game... let me search... I know we're going off topic here. You're going to have to forgive me, though, because I'm on a tangent. There was a game that me and Katla were looking at because we wanted something similar. What was the name of that? World War II. I think War on the Sea, is it? Yeah. War on the Sea. I think that's it. Is it War on the Sea? It might be War on the Sea. It could well be War on the Sea. I truthfully don't know, though. It's and also Sea Power, is it? Sea Power game. One of these that I'd seen before. Here it is, Sea Power. Yeah, Microprose, that's it. So yeah, there's two games coming out called War on the Sea and Naval Power, right? And Sea Power. Like, if I link both of them in chat, you will see that they are literally the same game as far as I can tell. Only one's focusing on World War II and one's focusing on modern stuff. It's kind of weird. I don't know the behind the scenes what's happened, but they're both coming out like under separate companies. So the first link is Naval. The first one is the one by Microprose, which looks really interesting. This one's to be announced, where you get to control like loads of different shit. And then War on Sea looks to be very very World War II, naval focused as usual, which is all very interesting. But yeah, basically both of these games. So the one by Killerfish is, I guess, the next answer to the Cold Waters engine, I guess. That's the next game they're working on. And Sea Power, Naval Combat in the Missile Age, it really got a catchy title there. That's the one by Microprose that I saw coming out, and that literally is on the Cold Waters engine, which is interesting. So yeah, that looks like it's going to be pretty cool. Seems like the devs split off. It certainly looks like it, and it looks like both of them have rights to the engine, which is interesting. Made two different games, yeah. So we'll see which one's worth your time. We'll have to have a look there. Microprose. I'm pretty sure there was another game that they had coming out. There's like a bomber game that Microprose has coming out, which looks really good, where you get to, like, in a similar way to Wolfpack, you're on individual spots on the submarine. You get to play in a B-17 flying fortress, and you can have multiple players operating, like the ventral guns and the ball guns and everything, and the pilot and the navigation stuff, which looks really cool. Anyway. Right, so let me jump back into the game here. Sorry, this became a peddling stream of different games there. I apologise. Back to normal service. So yes, a wolf pack of enemy cruise missile submarines is believed to be operating in an area about 200 miles north of Iceland, so deep in the Arctic Circle. Important NATO naval forces will be moving into this region shortly. Therefore, you are ordered to find and sink all enemy attack submarines in the area. Intelligence believes that additional enemy naval forces may pass through as well. Locate and sink the enemy cruise missile submarines located north of Iceland is our objective. So let us continue and continue on course here again. Just a review of weapons. Let's see here. Thank you very much there too. Is that Mar Cosper? Macosper? Thank you very much for the tier 1 sub there. So yes, we used a good handful of our torpedoes there, 3 in fact. 1 from the vertical launch and 2 from the tubes. That leaves us with 10 spearfishes in the normal torpedo tubes remaining and 3 in the vertical launch. And then we can switch to the tiger fishes and then only use tiger fishes for this mission. So yeah, we won't load any spearfishes because they're not accurate to the time period, but I've got to get rid of them because I'm not allowed to go back to harbour just yet. So continue on course. So we're going north of Iceland. I'm guessing somewhere here, because north is this way. So they're going to be up here in the Greenland Sea. Oh, I stumbled into them. Captain, we have a new sonar contact bearing 103, designated Sierra 1. EXO reports that our depth is at 600 feet, heading 147. Speed is 20 knots. Local conditions are scattered and calm with a moderate surface duct and thermal layer at 211 feet. What are your orders? So we are heading bearing 103. So we're sort of heading, so the contact is kind of southeast-ish, more towards east from us. And we are travelling at 147. So we're heading sort of a little bit further right of where they are. So they're going to be to our left as we pull in. So what we're going to do is we are going to go all hands to battle stations, as we've been caught on the back foot here, so there's no point in having an estimated close to range. We're just going to run straight in and hopefully run down towards quiet running. We'll see if we get detected. So rig ship for ultra quiet.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Rigging ship for ultra quiet. Now ambient noise is only 89 decibels, so it's a little bit quiet. Instantly got a contact off to our left there, as we predicted. Let's begin servicing that contact. Now we know that there's probably submarines operating up here, so again we're going to have to switch over to where all the Russian submarines are. It's around here, there it is. So let's take a look here. So it's not a Typhoon. We're just going to try and line these up. So they're probably cruise missile submarines.
Sonar new contact bearing
Juliet SSG. So a submersible submarine with a guided missile launcher. We're going to try and service that target as best as we can. We've got Sierras 2 and 3. Flag Sierra 2. We can assume that that is also a escorting submarine of some description. It looks like it's not quite a Sierra. It doesn't line up just right. It's not a Sierra 2. We have an Alpha SSN, nuclear-powered SSN.
classified as submerged submarine.
And then our final submarine looks to be biologic in some description. Let's see here. Yeah, looks like we've got a blue whale. Okay.
Is classified as biologic.
So that Alpha is probably a lot closer than we give it credit for. What we're going to do is we're going to come left and try and fire from the Juliet's baffle. So helm come left bearing 082.
Come left to 082. Helm aye.
We're underneath a massive sheet of ice, so we can't surface at the moment. Right, total water depth as of this area is 1900 feet, give or take. Our test depth on our sub is 1800 feet. We are very quiet. Dive, take us down to 1200 feet.
Make depth 1.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 3. Last bearing 120. Contact faded.
We're not going to reload the vertical launch system just yet.
Contact on. Sierra 3. Bearing 120.
Okay, so down we go. For anybody wondering as well, if you play this game, you will notice that the water is not as dark as this. I'm actually using a mod called the Reduced Visibility mod. It's available on the SubSim forums, which basically makes the water murkier, because basically the water is so clear in cold waters that you can visually see torpedoes coming towards you. I would much rather rely on instruments. So we've come in behind the Juliet here, which gives us an opportunity that we wouldn't normally have. The Juliet class, if we go and find it, I don't know whether it has a towed array or not. Have a look here.
Con, helm, steady course.
Yes, that's the Juliet. Okay, so we've got medium frequency passive sonar and low frequency active sonar. So its active is better than its passive, but we've not been detected yet. It fires Test 71 torpedoes, it's not actually that good, a very small seeker head range. We should be able to avoid that by going very deep, as we are. We're going to fire a spearfish right up and behind it, basically. Its estimated depth is currently, if I select Sierra 1, all the way up at the 400 feet mark. So we're coming down very deep. We're going to be firing very shallow. So we're going to set the torpedo to search surface, and we're going to have it run passive. Now, in terms of our signatures here, you can see how our estimates are with regards to our contact. So we know roughly what sonar suite, in terms of its previous engagement and performance, we've encountered in the past as NATO. So we have designated that it has a shark teeth low frequency active and shark fin passive sonar. Using the data that we've collected about these sonars in years of research and development and, you know, espionage into these things, I will do screwed. I think we're okay because they're operating below the layer, so I think we'll be all right. But yeah, basically in terms of that, we're able to get an estimate as to what our own detection is with regards to ourselves. So, in the case of the contact here, we've now just closed into what's called its like blind spot. It's baffles. So this is actually the perfect time to fire. So I'm going to surface the weapon here and explain a little bit more about that. So, firing point procedures, bearing 100, range to enable 5,400 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 1.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Weapon 1 has cleared the tube and is running normally. Dive take us down to 1,300 feet.
Make depth 1300 feet. Dive I.
Okay, so a contact's baffles, right? In the case of our submarine here, our sonar suite is attached to the front of the submarine here, in and around this bulbous sort of dome. And what that means is the sonar suite is able to find things best when things are in front of it. Now, it's listening for noise, it's listening for sound and things, and the sonar suite can only see within a certain radius around the submarine. When you actually get towards the engine room here, because of the noise given off by your own power plant and the own engines of your own ship, you actually cannot hear directly behind you because of the fact that the sound that you would be listening out this way is contaminated by your own propeller and engines. So you actually can't hear things directly behind you, so it's actually the best place to engage a submarine from. It's a blind spot in the enemy's sonar suite, which means this Juliet here should not detect us until we're right on top of him, and even then all he's going to be able to manage is a hasty snapshot. He will detect it, but not until it's too late. Someone said there is a Sierra 4. Very good point. We should service Sierra 4.
Dive at 1300 feet.
That is
Dive I.
biologic from the looks of it. I'm going to wager that's biologic. Yep, humpback whale.
Con sonar, Sierra 4.
So we've got two
Classified
hostiles
as
in
biologic.
station at the moment. You can see that the actual Alpha class here that's in escort is probably going to be too fast for our kit here. Any minute now we're going to hear the Juliet go active and it's going to start its torpedo evasion. And then at that point we will be able to be able to start the dance of torpedo evasion, basically. Have another swig of me cider. Oh, that's very nice. Right. So as you can see, this torpedo is actually extremely close to the Juliet at the moment, and the Juliet hasn't even begun torpedo evasion because, again, this torpedo is operating in its blind spot. If we have a look at the target, it is currently making 8 knots, which will be about patrol speed for him, because he's only a diesel electric, which means he's quite slow. So, for him, he's chugging along as normal. It's actually the Alpha that's screening here. You can see he's zigzagging and going all over the place. It is him that's actually searching for hostile contacts.
Fire control. Weapon acquired.
Weapon acquired. So the weapon is starting its climb. We can see that here. We're going to set the weapon to search straight and level now. Excellent stuff. So you can see how close it's getting. There we go.
Launch transient from Sierra 1.
Sierra 1 launch transient. Now at helm, we are going to change course here because that snapshot is going this way and it's going to intercept us. So helm, come right bearing 189.
Come right to 189. Helm I.
So the target is trying to speed up, as you can see by these white dots getting further and further apart. We can see he's now making 11 knots. The Spearfish torpedo, though, is just slightly too fast. He may be able to get some countermeasures off, but I don't think he's going to be able to. I think he's bang in trouble. It's chasing him right up the bum here. He's not really able to get the speed to start deploying his decoys effectively. He might drop one. No. There's nothing he can do. He can't even get up to speed in time. In comes the spearfish, and
Con sonar lost
gone.
contact. Sierra
Massive
1,
rip across
last
the
bearing,
bow
1,
there.
1, 3, contact breaking up.
Starboard bow. He did lose a torpedo. That is a problem for us. That torpedo, I'm wagering, is going to be searching quite shallow. It's not amazingly shallow, but it's not amazingly deep either. I might use our submarine superior depth to really get below it, just in case it intercepts. We're also going to start moving up to potentially patrol speed, but we'll see. Dive, take us down to, with total water depth at 1900, let's come down to 1750 feet.
Make depth 1750 feet. Dive by.
Let's come all the way down. Stern Quebec. Did I say... What did I say? Aft, not bow. Did I say bow? My bad. Aft. The butt. The boog. So, interesting thing about this. So, if we have a look at the Juliet here again, pain in the ass to get to, but we get there. So, the Juliet, right, has a test depth of 775 feet. There's no way it would be able to get down to 1900 feet. So, if we look at the Juliet here, the fact that it's nearly resting on the bottom here intact without imploding means that the entire inner compartment is flooded. So whatever happened with the brace, with the hit on the rear, the entire ship is flooded with water, hence why it's not imploded this far down. Right. We're actually changing course on this guy. We are going to try and service a kill on that Alpha if we can. So helm, come left, bearing 114.
Come left to 144.
144 even. And we're going to ready tubes 2. So make ready tube 2. Estimated target depth is around the 1,000 foot mark, so we are lower than him. So searching above the torpedo, we're going to get ready with passive search and fire on the target at 12 kiloyards or 11 kiloyards. We're actually going to set it to about 10. So firing point procedures, bearing 137, range to enable 10,300 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 2.
Shoot tube 2. Aye, sir.
Weapon 2 has cleared the tubes and is running normally. Fantastic.
Con sonar lost contact.
We'll get there,
Sierra
Rissu. We'll get
4,
there.
last bearing 100. Contact
Right.
faded.
So we've still got that Alpha dead to rights because the Alpha is currently making full speed at a very respectable 41 knots. Okay, this torpedo is now beginning its search.
Steady course.
It is below the pack ice, but it is very shallow. So we are comfortably out of range of him being able to find us. Right, so currently stationed very low below this ice sheet. We're engaging our target here. Still silent running. We're going to keep trying to work on that Alpha class. Now, some people may ask, Joe, the torpedo, how long can it run for? Nobody was asking, but I'm going to tell you. All the torpedoes in the game have, depending on whether it's electric, pretty much all of them are electric drive at this point. Some power supplies are better than others. The more modern ones tend to go a little bit further. The Spearfish being uncharacteristically new, due to the fact that I shouldn't really have it, is able to run for about 26-27 minutes before it runs out of fuel and automatically detonates to stop it from sailing halfway around the world and entering a fishing port somewhere in South Asia. So basically, this weapon, we can see its runtime by this characteristic here under weapon data, weapon 2. The TTR is the time to run, and that is essentially how much fuel the torpedo has remaining. So it's got about 25 minutes of fuel. Going up from there, we've got the RTE point, which is the range to enable, which is this marker here. It is currently 6.3 kiloyards away from its range to enable point, and once it reaches its range to enable point, it will activate and go from 60 knots to 80 knots at full speed. Above that is bearing, which is which direction it's heading, range, which is how far away from our ship it is, and its course, which is also 137 from us. So I believe course is the direction the weapon is heading, sorry, and bearing is the weapon's bearing in relation to us. So it's 137 from us, and it's also heading 137, which means we're both going the same direction. That's the essence. Right, the Alpha is still currently banging away at 41 knots. It's waiting for a torpedo it hasn't seen. Currently, I believe, yeah, the only noise that is happening at the moment is from this torpedo, which is too high to find us. So that's going to go sailing on by. The Alpha is going to get diddled here if he's not careful. We've got more than enough fuel to sink him. The torpedo's actually about halfway between the 2 points. Once the Seeker head activates, it's going to go up shallow and hopefully find the target. The target is now estimated to be around the same depth as us, actually. It's actually dropped down considerably. A very deep diving depth. Which is actually a little bit of a bother for us, because if it gets a snapshot on us, it might actually be a little bit tricky. Helm, come left bearing 214. We're going to speed things up to 10 knots. So let's drop out of silent running and move to patrol speed.
Make turns for 10 knots. Maneuvering
We're going to activate this weapon early because he's coming right at us. So let us activate our weapon now by pressing the 4 key. And we are going to set it to run at a constant bearing. Or at a constant depth, I should say. So, the weapon is now engaging the target. More than likely the Alpha is going to have seen that. It will probably fire a shot in retaliation, although I really doubt that the Alpha can fire a shot at 41 knots. Hence why it is slowing down so sharply to 26 knots so that it can release a torpedo. So it's slowing down very, very drastically here, 20 knots. Basically what he wants to do is slow down enough that he can send a torpedo our way. There it is. Noisemaker away. Active homing on our torpedo. Okay.
Fire control, weapon acquired.
This weapon is pretty... The only thing that we need to be mindful of with this weapon is that it may in fact target the blue whale if we're not careful, so we're not going to do any aggressive maneuvers just yet until we know that the Alpha is engaged and destroyed. This weapon, though, being as fast as it is more than likely going to be able to close the gap. Now he's actually pulling some very sharp maneuvers. Our torpedoes exchange places. Let's take a look at the fire control system on the Alpha. You set 80 torpedoes, very, very capable Russian torpedoes. We've got to be very, very careful. Okay, here we go. Coming in on the Alpha. This could be him in trouble. He's manoeuvring, but I think our torpedo's too fast for him to evade. That is bad news. He's just going to battering ram the thing. Bang. Okay. With the hostile engaged and destroyed, we're going to speed up to a head flank at 30 knots, holding the bearing of 214. That's our course. Right. So, moving out this way then, we're going to move at a head flank to try and evade the enemy torpedo that's coming in because it's a very capable weapon. You set 80 torpedo as a range of 22,000 yards at 40 knots with a max speed of 50 knots. Doesn't matter that it's not as fast as the Spearfish, it's faster than us, so it will close. Seeker head range is 3,000 yards, which means you can't really avoid this thing by going deep. It's just it's got too much sonar head, it will find you. This Soviet dual-purpose torpedo equips the latest technology and boasts similar performance to the Mark 48 torpedo. It has an active/passive homing system with a great range of 3,000 yards, making this a dangerous weapon to contend with. So basically we're getting the fuck out of the way as fast as we can, because that weapon is going to hurt us. Come left 219.
Come
right to 219.
Helm
And we're just going to get out of the way. Reload tubes 1, 2 and 5 with Spearfish torpedoes. Using the Spearfish is easy mode, but again, we've got to just get rid of them. Thank you very much to Trickums there for the 19 months, and Mr. Sheep Wars for the 24. 2 years, Big Blue, sir. Thank you very much. Welcome, welcome. So, yeah. We've just got to do as we do here and get out of the way. That weapon is homing very, very accurately, and thank God he set it to search shallow. That is going to help us big time in getting away. Where is its estimated search? So the nice thing about this is it's taking a snaking search. So it's, if you look at its trajectory here by zooming in, you can see it's zigzagging left and right and left and right, and it's actually searching up here, which is excellent. Our bearing here and our speed that we're going means that we're going to be able to open up the gap rather considerably, which is perfect. We should be well out of the seeking head of this weapon before it finds us, which is lovely stuff. So yeah, because it's going left and right, left and right, left and right, even though it's going incredibly quickly, it's covering more ground because it's snaking, and therefore that gives us an advantage in terms of opening up the distance and speed. So this is actually a successful mission encounter, which is very, very nice. Switching back to our sub here, we're going to stay down here at the 1700 feet marker. I'm going to have a drink of water, not alcohol. Have you considered playing DCS World as a human GCI/AWAC? Might be your kind of thing. I'm going to pretend I know what either of those is, because I've got no idea what that stands for. Literally no idea. What? Basically air traffic control, but for war. I could do, I guess. I don't know any of, like, submarine lingo I know, but when it comes to aircraft and stuff, like, oh god. The sky is the limit. Pun intended. Just cleaning some dust there. Basically guide the guys in the air and tell them where to go. Right. I guess I could. It could be something I could do with Cyanide and Digby and stuff, because I know they're into that. Yeah, Draconic. It's a danger for sure. Good stuff. So we are basically out of this weapon, because the thing about snaking weapons here is that it's only going to search this way in a snaking pattern, which means we are now behind the weapon, which means we're basically safe from it. So yes, Juliet was rest on the bottom, and so is the Alpha, meaning that the internal chambers of these submarines have been totally and utterly devastated by these torpedoes that we're using, these modern spearfishes. Again, for anybody just joining us, the spearfish is actually too new for this campaign, but I find myself in the unusual predicament that I can't actually swap out from them at the moment, because I've already left harbour with them without realising. So what we're doing is we're just using them to get rid of them. I could engage those whales, but they're very, very far away. We're just using them to get rid of them, and then once we've gotten rid of them, we're going to only use the tigerfish, which is the one from the war that we have. So let's take a look at our submarine and actually take a look at the tigerfish, because we looked at the spearfish. Maximum range, so 3,000 yards at 24 knots, max speed of 35 knots, seeker head 2,000 yards. The Mark 24 Tigerfish torpedo was a heavyweight acoustic homing torpedo used by the Royal Navy for several years. The Tigerfish was fitted with a both active and passive sonar, and could be remotely controlled through a thin wire which connected it to the launching submarine. Initial variants, Mod 0 ASW, introduced in 1980, and Mod 1 Dual Roll, introduced in 1979, were highly unreliable. A remediation program after the Falklands War led to the adoption of a more reliable Mod 2 Dual Roll torpedo in 1968. The Tigerfish weapon was eventually replaced by the much improved Spearfish torpedo in 2004. So basically, I might be right in saying, chat, that the Tigerfish is the only option the Royal Navy have at the time, and it's bad, basically. That is a very slow speed for a fucking torpedo. Having a torpedo that only goes, what, fucking 20, 35 knots? That can be outpaced by a, words, Joe, words. By a fucking Alpha, one of the submarines that we've engaged down here. An Alpha can outrun that at 41 knots. So that is desperately slow. Desperately slow. I mean, compare that to the Spearfish. So fucking 24 knots and 35 knots, up to 60 knots and 80 knots. Yeah. It's very bad. Yeah, so this weapon was used until 1986. It's because they used this submarine, I believe, all the way up until the 2000s. So that's why this Spearfish torpedo is in the loadout of this submarine, because they had to accommodate for that. I wonder if there's a special 1968 version or 1984 version of it that didn't have that torpedo in, but Ah, well, we can just play by rules. Right. Plenty of times there. Plenty of times there, Spartan. We've, yes, shot many a torpedo at them. Well, you can see... there was a gap in that ice shelf there. We've just come back under it. You can see how the shadows on the ground change as we pass under. Very nice. Okay, weapons are still classified as nearby. What I am going to do is just ever so cheekily speed up time a little bit, just so that we're a little bit further away. Just compresses time, just to open up distance. Can still hear the pinging. Can't hear the pinging anymore, so we are out. So, HMS Trafalgar S-107 in the vicinity of the Denmark Strait, 07 November 1984. It is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. EXO reports that we have no close contacts and we are ready to leave the area. No weapons, no vessels, no aircraft, no flooding. Our orders are to leave combat. Thank you very much. Right, so our after-action report is 1 times Juliet class engaged and sunk, 1 times Alpha class engaged and sunk, weapons remaining 11 Spearfish torpedoes, 10 Tigerfish, 4 UGMs, 8 TLAMs and 4 MOSSs. Very nice. Where can I see the info on the sub? Says Anon. Are you referring to like a wiki or something? Or are you looking like, because there's some information in game that I have, but I kind of go through it as I do. Right. So, for the Commander-in-Chief of the Atlantic Fleet, we radio in our successful mission in the vicinity of the Denmark Strait. Congratulations on a job well done. Sinking those subs will keep our boys safe. New orders coming on this downlink soon. Very nice. So, newspaper report for the 7th of November. Wolves driven off. Incidents involving attacks on transatlantic convoys by hostile submarines in and around the Denmark Strait have rapidly diminished. An anonymous spokesperson suggested an increased NATO submarine operations in the area are a contributing factor. However, the Pentagon has refrained to comment on submarine operations. Without the threat from attack submarines, transatlantic crossings are becoming more efficient and suffering fewer losses. If this improved influx of supplies and war materials can be sustained, NATO forces will be in a position to take the fight all of the way back to the Iron Curtain. Looks like they published yesterday's newspaper today. So, successfully done there. So, just protecting areas to reinforce different, NATO bases like Spitsbergen and all of that good stuff. Almost definitely saying that wrong. But, NATO bases that need supply, obviously got to have open supply routes, got to push back enemy submarine forces and allow supply to get to those areas. So very nice. So, Com Sublant HMS Trafalgar S-107, Commander-in-Chief of the Atlantic Fleet. Mission orders are as follows. Tactical situation. Recent recon overflights show a large force of enemy landing ships and surface combatants preparing to sail within 3 days. NavOps believe they will attempt to conduct an amphibious landing at Bergen, Norway. Bad weather prevents airstrikes, and NavOps is depending on you to intercept and destroy this force before the landing occurs. Locate and sink enemy amphibious landing ships. Locate and sink any escorting vessels if possible. Avoid detection by enemy ASW patrol, and maintain radio silence until otherwise directed. We're also weapons free on designated targets. So, basically, we've got to get to Bergen and try and stop this landing fleet from engaging our boys. So, continue on course. And let's pull back. So we're going to Bergen in Norway. Now, oh god, is that them? They've got here very quickly. I'm not sure if that's them. I'm going to hold down here. On this shallow shelf. Oh. Newspaper cutouts. World news on the 8th of November 1984. West Germany falls to the Warsaw Pact. Shock and horror follows in the wake of the Soviet invasion of Western Germany. Despite heroic efforts by West Germany's armed forces, the sheer brute force of the ruthless communist intruders could not be stopped. In a rock, paper, scissors combat environment, perhaps we should be thankful for the current stone meets stone situation. Military expert Martha Tuchman theorises on the current NATO Warsaw Pact draw. The war at sea remains unsettled as both sides maintain maritime presence in important areas. So West Germany has fallen to the Warsaw Pact. I'm moving slowly at patrol speed north of Norway here. Chances are there's going to be hostile forces transiting north of Narvik and Endoya. I could try and intercept them in and around here, so that tends to be where they sail from. Normally they hug the coast by Endoya. Here it is, in fact. That's our target. So we're at dead stop, so they shouldn't be able to easily detect us. So, Captain, we have a new sonar contact bearing 059. Designated Sierra 1. EXO reports our depth is at 050 feet. Heading is 061. Speed is 5 knots. Local condition is overcast, light air, strong surface duct and moderate thermal layer at 139 feet. A little bit of a bother with the strong surface duct. That's going to make detecting from below the layer quite difficult. It's a good thing I'm above it for the moment. So, with regards to our combat environment, we are heading at 6-1 and we are looking at a contact at 5-9. So they're basically directly ahead of us. See you later there, Byzantine. Have a good night. Or afternoon or evening, depending on where you are. So yeah, 059. So we're looking northeast, more east, but northeast. So, enemies are going to be directly ahead of us. We're very shallow. Let's have a look at our targets. All hands to battle stations.
On sonar, new contact bearing 0.
Rig ship for ultra quiet. Light mist on the sea today.
Con sonar, new contact bearing.
Let's start
9
checking
3,
these contacts.
Sierra 2.
Sierra 1 is flagged. We obviously know these to be warships. So we're going to go through all of these
Designated Sierra 3.
and start trying to find.
Con sonar, new contact bearing 069. Designated
Not quite a
Sierra
Cresta.
4.
A Cashin
Con
DDG
sonar,
guided
new
missile
contact
destroyer.
bearing 0,
We're just going to work
7,
our way up the
designated
list.
Sierra 5. Con sonar, new contact bearing 074. Designated Sierra 6.
Possibly a
Con sonar,
Krivac,
new
mark it.
contact bearing 091.
Sierra 3,
Designated
possibly a
Sierra
Krivac,
7.
mark it. Sierra 4, very
Con
different.
sonar, new contact bearing 0.
Sierra 4
8,
looks like it could
designated
possibly
Sierra
be a tenders and tankers ship, one of the ones we're here for.
Contact bearing 038. Designated Sierra 9.
Don AS, not sure what the AS stands for. B-34 guns, probably a landing and resupply ship. So probably, no, it's not quite a Don actually, this one doesn't line up. There we go, Kazbek AO. So a fuel ship.
Con sonar Sierra 4.
Or a very
is
large cargo
classified
ship.
as Merchant.
I'm not sure if an AO is one of the ships we're after. That's an alligator. That is a landing ship.
Con sonar Sierra 5.
Sierra 6 is a landing
classified
ship.
as Merchant.
Sierra 7 has a very unusual signature, so I'm going to skip over those. Sierra 8 I'm not sure about. We are going to guess the target depth. So 12 kilometers. We're going to upscope. And we're going to just very sheepishly...
Downscope. Downscope. Upscope.
Come on.
5, 9.
directly ahead of us. No visual. What are the bearing on these guys? There's one of them. Tag. There's a guy there.
Con
Tag.
sonar master 4 is classified
Guy there.
as merchant.
Tag. Not sure there's a guy there. Guy there. Tag. Guy there. Tag. That's a warship. Scope awash. Couldn't see any more than that downscope. So I'm guessing Sierra 7 is somewhere in and around there. Let's keep working our contacts here. Sierra 7. Unknown what that is exactly. I'm going to assume it's some sort of warship, if not biologic. Probably biologic if I'm honest. There it is, blue whale.
Con
Tag.
sonar Sierra 7 is
Sierra
classified
8.
as biologic.
So it looks like we've got probably an undetected ship around here. But these are our two ships of contact here. So we're going to fire a spread. Passively homing. We're going to dive. We're going to shoot shallow and dive deep, I reckon. So let's all stop
Make turns for
and ready
0
to fire.
knots.
We're going to engage the escorts first because we can always engage the warships after the tankers and tenders afterwards. It's the warships that are the immediate danger. These guys are actually very close to us. So firing point procedures, bearing 054, range to enable 3,300 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 1.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Firing point procedures, bearing 107, sorry, range to enable 7,500 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 2.
Shoot tube 2. Aye, sir.
Firing point procedures, bearing 069, range to enable 10,400 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 3.
Shoot tube 3. Aye, sir.
Firing point procedures, bearing 079, range to enable 9,500 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 4.
Shoot tube 4. Aye, sir.
All weapons are away. Hold still, begin sinking us out via the ballast tank. Estimated depth, I want to have it at
Depth 300
all the way
feet,
down
dive
to
by.
1,800 feet, please. Apologies for the car then.
Depth 1800 feet, dive by.
Okay, we've got estimated launches on our position. Screening weapons coming in that way and that way. Take control.
Fire
Oh,
control. We've
Con sonar lost contact.
Lost
Master
weapon
3,
1.
Last bearing.
slow
0,
our
9,
ascent a little
0.
bit, please.
Contact
Go
faded.
down at a rate of 15 so that we don't lose the weapons. Krivak's launch, it is very weird. We've got another alligator
Con
marked there.
sonar, Master
And a
5.
Rapua.
Passing 200 feet.
Master 5 has been tagged and classified as a Rapua. Okay. This
Con
weapon is
sonar
running to its
lost
enable
contact.
point.
Master 1, 0. Last bearing.
We can only
0,
hope that this is
6,
going to land.
0. Contact faded.
There it is. Tracking. Weapon 1 has acquired its target. We are sinking down deep. It's taking a little bit of time, actually. We've got to sink faster than this.
Con sonar. Torpedo in the water.
Torpedo in the water.
Bearing 1, 0, 3.
Yep, they've got me dead to rights. All ahead flank cavitate.
Make turns for
Sound the
3,
dive alarm.
0.
We are
Con sonar.
full
We are
speed.
cavitating.
Right.
300 feet.
Con sonar. No longer
3
cavitating.
klaxons for emergency dive. Take us down.
Con sonar. Torpedo in the water. Torpedo
Reload
in the water.
MOSS
Bearing
tube
0,
4.
0, 6.
Con fire control. We've lost the wire.
Lost the wire eye. Weapons are away. Activate weapon 2.
Con sonar lost contact. Master 5.
Passing 600 feet.
Turn left, full right rudder.
Con sonar.
Passing 700 feet.
All ahead flank. Keep going. Reload MOSS tube 2. Reload Spearfish tube 1. Reload Harpoon tube 3. Okay, total water depth I've got to keep an eye on here. Go very deep.
Con sonar. Noisemaker bearing 0, 5, 3.
He's diving with us. Dive, crash dive.
Con sonar. Torpedo
Left,
in the
left,
water.
left.
Torpedo in the water. Bearing 0, 5,
Dive underneath
0.
him. We've got basically the whole ocean to play with here.
Passing 1200 feet.
1200 feet aye.
Tube 4 ready.
Con sonar lost contact.
Passing 1300 feet.
1300 feet aye. Keep an eye on total water depth. Running it out, 28 knots.
Passing 1400 feet.
Krivak engaged and destroyed. Contact breaking up. Master 1. Drop a
Passing
decoy.
1500 feet.
1500 feet aye. Helm come left full rudder. Left full rudder. Knuckle has been
Passing
formed.
1600 feet.
1600 feet aye. We must open up some of this distance. We've got to get away from these torps.
Passing 1700 feet.
Seabed is in view.
Con maneuvering. Making turns for 3, 0.
You're going to have to change depth very aggressively here. Tube 1 ready. Thank you very much to Wolf Hunter there for the 27 months.
1800 feet.
Torpedo astern. Okay, 1800 feet. That passed our test depth. Yep, okay. Gonna want to come up a little bit. We're deeper. We're at maximum depth here. Keep opening up the distance. We're going to change at the last moment.
1,500 feet.
Drop a decoy. Helm come left, full rise on planes, full rise on ballast. Swing over the torpedo.
Passing 1,700 feet.
1,700 feet, aye. We have passed over the
Passing
torpedo.
1,600 feet.
Keep turning.
Con, torpedo passing 1,500 feet.
Passing underneath us. Helm come full left rudder.
Passing 1,400
Full drop on
feet.
planes. Full drop on ballast.
Passing 1,300 feet.
Left full rudder, left full
Passing
rudder.
1,200 feet.
No, I wasn't ready. I wasn't
Passing
fast enough on the
1,100
planes. This is bad. There's a torpedo to my left, very
Con,
close.
knuckle formed.
Knuckle formed. We're going to dive. I've lost it.
Passing 1,100 feet.
1,100 feet, aye. Try and take us back down under the torpedo.
Passing 1,200 feet.
Is it climbing still? No, it is holding steady.
Passing 1,300 feet.
Okay, we don't have time really.
Passing 1,400 feet.
1,400
Con,
feet.
torpedo
Take us
room
back down to
23, passing
1,800.
1,500 feet.
Torpedo's going to reacquire us, but that is the nature of the beast here. Torpedo has reacquired us, reacquired. We've been acquired by 2 bandits. Coming down
Con
deep.
sonar, noisemaker bearing 115.
Con, knuckle formed.
Noisemaker bearing 115. I can only assume that that other Krivak is on target. 2 bandits coming in. We're going to run these out as fast as we can, and then we're going to change depth aggressively to shallow. Okay. Yeah, she is. She's not bad for her size, is she, Screwed?
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing.
I know a few girls at school like that.
117.
Okay, here it comes. I've got to wait until I can see the whites of their eyes here. 27 decoys left on board. Closing in
Con
fast.
sonar lost contact. Master 10. Last bearing 0.
Here they
6,
come,
2.
here they come.
Contact faded.
Ready. Now. Dump decoy, full rise on planes. Oh no, that's full drop. Full left rudder. Climb, climb, climb.
Passing 1,800 feet.
Climb,
Con sonar,
climb, climb.
noisemaker bearing 12.
Passing 1,700 feet.
Torpedo has reacquired us. We're not quite skipjack levels of agile, but we're not bad.
Passing 1,500
Both torpedoes are climbing up to me again. We're going to
Passing 1,400 feet.
wait for them to lose acquisition.
Passing 1,300
Keep going left,
feet.
keep going left.
Con sonar lost contact.
Decoy
Passing
out.
1,200 feet.
Keep climbing, keep climbing, keep
Passing
climbing.
1,100 feet.
Con sonar regained contact on.
Passing 1,000 feet.
1,000 feet, aye, keep climbing, keep climbing.
Passing.
Slow us down to 15
Turns
knots. Keep climbing, keep climbing.
5 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Con.
Passing 700 feet.
Slow us down to 5 knots.
Make turns for 5
Take the bubble off the boat.
Maneuvering aye.
Both torpedoes are out of juice. Hold us at the 400 foot mark. 400 feet mark.
Make depth 400 feet. Dive aye.
Prevacs
Con
engaged
sonar
and
regained
destroyed.
Contact on. Master
Helm
4,
left for me,
bearing
please.
0,
Bearing
6,
077.
4.
Come left to 077. Helm aye.
Okay. Let's take stock of the battlefield here, slowing down to 567 knots, which is fantastic. We're engaging several contacts. We want to come up very shallow to the 200 feet mark.
0 feet. Dive aye.
And come right the way up if we can. Right.
Con sonar regained contact on. Master 6, bearing 070.
Thank you very much to Hagman there for the 3 months of support. Very, very kind. Apologies for missing you sub there. Very kind. Get missiles in the VLS since you can shoot them without reloading. Can't reload missiles in the VLS. It's designed for torpedoes only. Because the vertical launch system shoots out the bottom, for whatever reason. It's designed for engaging deep diving submarines.
Steady course.
It's not to shoot up. And Australian ships, yeah. Yeah, just roll over. That's it. Okay. Still one hostile warship left in the water. We're going to climb all the way up to periscope depth. Please dive.
Make depth
All 5
4,
feet.
5 feet. Dive I.
Gonna have a swig of cider. Not bad at all.
Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 9, bearing 04.
Master 10. Lots of contacts. See if we can engage Master 10 with any kind of prejudice. That's possibly a war. Oh, it is. It's a war material ship. Something. Oh, is that a Udaloy? Oh, that's cheeky.
Con sonar master 1.
Upscope.
Upscope.
Looking pretty much dead ahead. Tag. Udaloy. That is cheeky. And that other Krevac is creeping over. Those are our targets. We're going to get some harpoons ready. Reload harpoon in tube 4.
Dive I.
Reload harpoon in tube 2. We're going to get some We're going to get some of these ships in. Downscope.
Downscope.
Right. Ready harpoon. Krevac is estimated range of 11 kiluyards, so we've got a little bit of a time before any torpedoes. The only thing that the Krevac could send upon me is actually some rocket-guided torpedoes, so I do need to be careful about... Yeah, I'm going to shoot in a salvo and try and hit all 3 of those ships together. Don't have long. Get those tubes loaded, lads. Okay. Hello, Ollers. Good to see you, mate. Do they have AA? They will have anti-missile guns, especially on the Udaloy. So getting the Aguma is going to be quite difficult. Okay. So, firing point procedures on the Alligator. Bearing 071, range to enable 15,800 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 3.
Shoot tube 3. Aye, sir.
Weapon is away and is running normally. Firing point procedures on Master 5, bearing 069, range to enable 17,600 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 4.
Shoot tube 4. Aye, sir.
Weapon has cleared the tube and is running normally. Final weapon, weapon 2. Firing point procedures, bearing 065, range to enable 15,400 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 2.
Aye, sir.
Weapon has cleared the tube and is running normally. All hands, crash dive, crash dive. Sound klaxon.
Turns. Con sonar. We are cavitating.
Take us down. Off we go.
Con sonar.
Passing 100 feet.
Down we go. Take us down to 1,400 feet.
Make depth 1400 feet. Dive I.
Con sonar. No longer cavitating.
No longer cavitating eye. Reload harpoon tube 2 and tube 4. No, we're out of harpoons. Reload spearfish tubes 4 and MOSS tubes 3. Slowing us down. Slow us down to ahead patrol speed, 10 knots.
1.
Even
0.
slower, 5 knots.
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering I.
We've got incoming air-launched torpedoes here, lots of them. Keep our ascent down. 1800 feet, all the way.
1.00 feet.
Control speed, 10 knots.
Make turns for 10 knots. Maneuvering
You do it. Don't you do it. Do it.
Con, torpedo room, tube 2 ready.
Con, sonar, torpedo in the water. Torpedo
Alarm,
in the water.
okay.
Bearing.
All ahead flank cavitate. Hostile torpedo coming in on the front left side. Forward port.
Bearing 2, 6, 8. Con, sonar, torpedo
Silence
in
the
water.
alarm.
Torpedo in the water. Bearing 0, 5, 0.
Helm come right, bearing 101.
Helm right. Con, sonar, torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water. Bearing 2,
Get a knuckle
6,
going.
6.
Okay, did I hit anyone? No idea, because they're out of my
Torpedo
detection
room,
range.
passing 1700 feet.
Passing 1700 feet, aye. Where are these torpedoes? That one's searching very high. Actually, this one that's found me. They must have set this guy searching much more shallow. It's only a matter of time before he finds me as well. That Krevac is closing. Nothing I can do up here at top speed. Dump a decoy. Slow down, back emergency.
Make turns
I need to fire a snapshot surface search homing
maneuvering eye.
at that Krevac before he closes too close. Snapshot tube 1. All ahead flank cavitate.
Make turns for 30 knots.
Activate the weapon.
Maneuvering eye.
Run it up to the target.
Con, sonar, switching to active search.
Oh fuck, this is gonna sting if it doesn't outright kill me.
Flooding in the machinery space.
Flooding in the machinery space. Planes are damaged, nothing we can't repair.
Late of the machinery space.
Con, sonar, switching to passive search.
All rise on planes, all rise, all rise, all rise.
Contact. Master 4. Last bearing.
Ah, no, there's
0,
nothing I can
6,
do here.
3. Contact
I've been
made.
cooked.
Knuckle form.
Knuckle formed, it's not enough, it's not enough.
Master 6. Last bearing.
Passing 1700 feet. Passing 1600 feet. Passing 1500 feet. Con, knuckle formed.
Come right, come right.
Con.
Passing 13.
Krevac engaged and destroyed. Helm come right, keep the bubble on the boat. Repair the planes, get the flooding out of the compartments.
Passing 1100 feet.
1100 feet, aye. Start slowing us
Passing
down.
1000 feet.
Make turns for 20 knots. Maneuvering eye.
Passing.
Slow us down to
Make
10
turns
knots.
for 10
Hold depth
knots.
at
Maneuvering
roughly 400 feet. Make it 300.
Make depth 300 feet. Dive high.
Up we climb.
Con, sonar, regained contact.
Helm come left.
Maneuvering. Making turns for
Bearing
1.
067.
Come left to 0.
Sonar from the Udaloy, I know.
High.
I'm working on it. We're lucky that torpedo had such a light payload. Yeah, they're searching way too deep for me. They've lost me. Okay. It might come up if I'm not careful. I'm trying to climb, but it's difficult. There goes the Krevac. Flooding is starting to be pumped out of the machinery space to the rear. Gotta reacquire that Udaloy. I've just gotta wait for more of the water to get pumped out. It's sinking just ahead of me. Down she goes. That spearfish saved my ass, and I'm not even supposed to have them. Right. Ooh, another air launch on us. good. I've just got to hope that they miss.
Dive planes have been repaired.
Dive planes have been repaired. Don't find us. Don't find us. Oh, there goes that ship.
Con, sonar.
Fuck.
Torpedo in the water. Torpedo in the water.
Torpedo in the
Bearing.
water, right?
1, 2, 3.
Helm come left, all ahead,
Left,
flank
2, 3,
cavitate.
0, 5. Helm aye.
Don't really have time for this. I'm not far enough away from those other torpedoes yet.
Con, sonar. Lost contact.
Passing 400 feet.
Passing 400 feet. Helm come left, full rise on planes. Oh, I don't think I'm going to make that.
300 feet.
Con,
Fuck.
sonar. We are cavitating.
Fuck.
Passing 200 feet.
Shoot decoy left.
Shoot 2-3. Aye, sir.
Decoy away.
On fire control, we've lost the wire.
Stay above it.
Knuckle formed.
Over the top, that's it. And then move the fuck away from the bastard. Coming this way.
Come right to 1, 6, 7. Helm aye.
And take us down.
Con, sonar. Lost contact.
Passing 200 feet.
We'll just have to deal with the flooding in the machinery space. I've got to
Con,
run.
sonar. No longer cavitating.
Sink that boat.
Passing 400 feet. Passing
1600 feet.
Make depth 160.
That is a really good decoy. That thing moves fast. I'm happy with that. There's that guy. Okay.
Come left to 0, 7, 7. Helm aye.
077I. Slow the boat down to 5 knots, please, manoeuvring.
Making turns for 5, 9.
How many sailors did you lose with that? Sailors did you lose with that one hole? It doesn't actually say how many sailors I lost, but we'll see. I can only hope the Admiralty lets me repair after this one. I think I've deserved it.
Con, helm, steady course. Come left to 0, 6, 4. Helm aye.
I have no idea. It's entirely possible that none of those weapons hit and all of them were shot down by the point defense systems on the Udaloy. If that's the case, we're in real trouble.
Come left to
Because I
0,
can't detect
6,
the
3.
Udaloy.
Helm aye.
Oh no, there he is. He says. Okay. Let's start servicing a tigerfish on him, or a spearfish.
Sonar regained contact
Firing point
on
procedures.
master.
Bearing
Sonar, helm,
050,
steady
range to enable 3,200 yards. Ship ready, tube ready, shoot tube 3.
Shoot 2-3. Aye, sir.
Weapon has cleared the tube and is running normally. Oh my god, we've parked up right next to the Krevac, look. Right. Taking us ahead slow at 5 knots. That decoy has done amazingly well. It's like it's moving at such a high speed. Royal Navy's got some real
Sonar
toys.
regained contact on master.
Okay.
4, bearing 059.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, it's Jock's face. Activate the weapon, run it off towards the Udaloy. Hopefully that'll be enough. Now I don't have enough harpoons to engage the other guys, that's the only problem here. I'm going to need to come shallow and engage. Okay, we're going to run fast and
Make
deep
turns.
towards them.
Con, sonar. Torpedo in the water.
Oh, shit.
Torpedo in the water. Bearing 048.
That cheeky fucking Udaloy has got me dead to rights. I've got to be so fucking careful. Reload decoy tube 1. If I can get between me
Con, sonar lost contact. Master
and
4,
this guy.
last bearing 059. Contact
if
faded.
I can turn away,
Con, sonar
maybe they'll
lost
go for the
contact.
Krevac.
Master 6, last bearing 067.
dive, take
Contact
us down
faded.
to that deep.
Make depth 1900
Not
feet.
990,
Dive
but
by.
185,
Make
sure.
depth 1850 feet. Dive by.
185, take us deep.
Con, knuckle formed.
Got a knuckle. I gotta get another decoy out, see if I can get him to go for the fucking Krevac. Come on, reload it. What the fuck? Oh, test depth. Shit, the flooding, the pressure. We imploded. Holy shit. Careful about the flooding. Big F. No hull. Nothing I could do. They should really be searching for this, but never mind, I guess. GG. F's in chat, that's the one. That brings us nicely to 2 hours, to be fair, so I can't even be mad. But that was a good session. Yeah, the biggest problem with that there was that they closed the distance really fucking well, and that Udaloy is dangerous. If I knew there was a Udaloy, I would have engaged that first. I wonder if they will eventually attack the Krivac. Because they should attack it. Where are they going? I don't know where the fuck they're going now. They're going for a walk. Boo! They should be attacking that. Are they attacking that? Oh, what the hell they're doing? No, I think he's just in a big circular search. Ah. Yeah, well that's a completely valid tactic. He is going. Is he going for it? Yeah? No? No, apparently they are still searching for me. Really? Really, bruh? Okay. Well, fantastic stuff. This is your punishment for bringing the wrong torps, apparently, yeah. Well, no, we'll definitely play that ship again, just with the right torpedoes next time. The cameraman is still alive, that's it. They're trying to hunt him down. Fair enough, yeah, that Udaloy, though. Udaloys are so fucking dangerous. You gotta really give them a wide berth. That Udaloy close to really close range could pick me out with his sonar and basically just kept firing torpedoes all over me until I was dead. Udaloy is totally capable of killing my ass. It's annoying that, because I'm sure these torpedoes used to track on enemy wrecks because they are large hulking masses. But unfortunately it looks like the game does not model that anymore. I've always tried it as a tactic, and I've always felt that I've just been unsuccessful in doing it. But apparently it is an invisible hand turned off for the enemy torpedoes. So what can you do? I wonder if I can... Can't, like, change any of the... Oh, no, I can. There's a couple of Udaloys there. That's a torpedo. That's one of the... I can't detect any warships. They had at least one helicopter up. Let's abandon ship, I guess? So yeah, so a cash-in, 2 Krivacs and a Udaloy with 3 of those ships. We didn't sink any of them, so I guess it... Oh god, the Udaloy managed to shoot down 3 fucking missiles. Christ almighty. So that is lost with all hands. Nuclear sub sunk. A NATO spokesman has confirmed that a US nuclear attack submarine has been lost in action. Although the details are incomplete at this time, sources close to the Pentagon say the submarine was lost with all hands during the course of duty. Defeat in Europe! That's very, that's the one. You lose one fleet, you lose one ship in NATO, game over, bro. Warsaw Pact forces continue to drive NATO back by opening a new major offensive this morning. Meanwhile, Soviet naval forces have effectively cut off the entire North Atlantic, leaving NATO forces... One naval assault on Bergen, and that's it. The entire NATO force has fallen. What can you do? There it is. UK blockaded. Soviet naval forces have taken the initiative and now dominate the Atlantic and Norwegian Sea. Transatlantic resupply convoys struggle to make the journey, and the escalating loss of materials and men at sea makes it only a matter of time before they stop arriving altogether. Currently in exile, political leaders from the occupied territories have voiced strong concern over the risk of the Iron Curtain being brought further west. Fears of a permanent occupation has sparked a refugee crisis, with hundreds of thousands fleeing NATO's contracting borders. Let's have a look then. See, it keeps going. Iron Curtain draws over Europe. Hundreds of thousands of refugees flee towards the English Channel as the red stain of communism finally dominates the continent. In occupied Europe, it is rumoured that many from the middle class and academia are being sent to re-education camps in increasing numbers. The Soviet occupying forces have clamped down further on security in responses to what they claim are actions of subversion by capitalist class enemies. Uncertain times ahead. Due to the economic and military strain of the recent conflict, analysts expect that despite the cessation of hostilities, the Cold War climate will return and indeed persist and escalate for decades to come. Deten detent. I can never say that word. It's like a tongue tie. I can't say it. And now seems a naive fantasy. The recent clash will no doubt require sustained future expansion of military expenditures and continued domestic sacrifices, both by Eastern nations and Western nations that remain friend. Remain friend. I suppose that's true in both cases. So yeah, that is it. End of the war. We said we were 4 days at war there were. 2 missions accomplished. We got 24,000 tons in total. There was little hope for you and your crew, as the twisted remains of the HMS Trafalgar have come to rest on the sea floor, a lasting monument to all those brave souls aboard who served. 3 submarines, 3 warships. Not too bad. Didn't even get a medal. Fair enough. Have you ever won the war? No. The game is like incredibly difficult to win due to the fact that it's extremely unforgiving that you can lose. If you're below 600 feet and you take critical damage, you're out. If you implode, you're out. That should be obvious. Really, the only time that you can even recover and try and take in another submarine is if you get hit critically above 600 feet, and those are the only circumstances. We want Save Scum to win at least once. Maybe we can Save Scum. We'll see. We could go in again, I suppose. But not this stream. Right, so that is me out for today. I'm glad you've all enjoyed some Cold Waters. That was really nice. It was quite nice getting into the commentary and the narration of that. Very, very kind. So yeah, awesome stuff. 1/4 of a century, eh? I suppose it's not quite, but we'll see. A century in month years. Ugh. But yes, I'm glad people enjoyed that. So cute. You got your Oculus hooked up? I do. Although, as I'm sure you can hear, there's a problem with one of the USB ports, so I need to like shuffle things around. So I'm going to be doing that as well at some point. I'm enjoying Blade and Sorcery. I want to do Half-Life Alyx. It's probably a game you've all probably seen already. Various other people play through it, but I want to obviously give it a go. I want to do some Boneworks as well. I'm not much for like things like Blade and Sorcery, mostly because it's just stabbing people over and over again, which I guess some people liked it. But yeah, definitely want to play and get it immersed in the VR experience, as it were. So play some proper air quotes VR games. Right, so thank you everybody for tuning in today. Hopefully you've all enjoyed. I'm going to quit out there, and we shall find somebody else to spare your eyeballs towards as yes. So let's see here then. Who else is online? Oh god, I'm going to hear my voice. Oh no, I'm not going to hear my voice. Thank God for that. Right, so who else is online? We've got KJ, Alistair, and Calf playing Satisfactory. I'm going to pass you on to Calf. So thank you everybody for joining in today, lending me your eyeballs, your ears, and all the rest of it. And I will catch thee tomorrow now, because I'm busy this evening. Oh, tomorrow? I'll probably stream in the afternoon tomorrow, maybe. Actually, I'm at my parents' tomorrow night as well. But could even be as late as Sunday. Oh, but yes, there it is. USB sad. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining in. Hopefully, as I say, you've enjoyed it. And this is ZF Calf. Feel free to join in and raid, spam your cube armors. And yeah, we'll catch you next time. Have a lovely evening, have a lovely afternoon. And I'm going to go and start cooking. Take care, folks, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.